Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the characteristics of life. Some of you may have already asked yourself the question, what actually is life? And so have many philosophers, and a lot of them even have different approaches to this question. Biologists have come up with these 7 characteristics / criteria of life. I'm going to explain them to you with some examples. Let's start off with the organization. The organization is either the organization of a number of cells, so eukaryotic organisms, or the organization within a singular cell, for example, in bacteria and prokaryotes. As you most likely know, the human, for example, has a very well-organized body which is highly complex. It has a circulatory system which pumps the blood through your vessels, a respiratory system which lets you breathe and lets the blood take all the oxygen from your lungs, a digestive system for your metabolism, which is also a criteria of life, but we'll get to that in a second, and of course your brain, the headquarters of your body. Second is the homeostasis. The homeostasis is the regulation of the internal environment. For example, the maintenance of the body temperature. Our body temperature as human beings should be around 37-38 degrees Celsius. More examples would be fever. If you're sick, you might get a fever, which is an attempt of the body to expel the intruders, the pathogens, and the bacteria and whatever. Another thing that might be considered a part of the homeostasis is that male testicles are not in the interior of the body. They hang outside, obviously. This is because sperm cells need a lower temperature to thrive, and hot temperatures are not really too good for them. That's why. The third point would be the metabolism. The metabolism can be separated into anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is making big, chunky molecules from smaller ones, and catabolism is the opposite. Metabolism is essentially the nutritioning with chemical reactions, and also the usage and generation of energy for sustainability. What does that mean? That means, for example, if you eat something, your body takes that food, digests it, and creates energy from it for your body to keep going, which is quite obvious, but it's essentially metabolism. And more examples would be the cellular metabolism. Yes, even our cells have their own metabolism. You can go watch the human cell series, I'll explain it there. And of course the human food consumption and the food consumption of all the life forms. Furthermore, there's the reproduction. Reproduction is the recreation of an instance of life. For example, when people have kids, they're reproducing. This is a progress of generations. You are the second generation coming after your parents, for example. More examples would be the breeding of animals, giving birth, and the mitosis and meiosis. I'll get to that in a second. Then there is the growth. Yes, growth also is a criteria of life, officially, and it is the physical development by anabolic processing. Those of you who go to the gym or who have an idea about sports medicine, they will probably have heard about the term anabolics, which is a type of steroids. These type of steroids, anabolics, encourage the growth of your muscle tissues. That means it makes your muscles grow. Cells also grow. But also can you, as a human, grow in cells? Regarding its number. You have yourself started as a single cell in your mother's belly, and now you consist of trillions and trillions of them. More examples would be the adolescence, the fetal development during pregnancy, and also the growth after mitosis. Let's take a look at this. Here, these white circles are cells. So let's start at the left. Here we have a cell, and it enters the mitosis. That means it's gonna split into two, where there's no parental cell and no daughter cell. And these cells after mitosis are gonna grow to the full extent again. So in the end we have copied this cell kinda. Another criteria of life would be the response. It could be for example, a subconscious reaction to environmental change or to stimulation. For example, pulling back from sudden pain. I think everyone has once at least touched a hot stove or something like that, and then you pulled your hand back faster than you could think of it. Also, the sexual desire is a response to stimulation. Let's look into that pulling back thing again. Responsible for this action of pulling back your hand, for example, is the central nervous system, or CNS, and the peripheral nervous system, the PNS. I'll get into these two in another video because it's kind of complex and I don't like my videos being too complex. But we can take a look at it here. So, let's say your nerve registers sudden extreme heat on your hand. It sends a message to the central nervous system that there's extreme heat at this point where this nerve cell is, and the brain registers this signal, and it sends yet another message, or more like an order, to the muscles that they should pull back. And this ends in this reaction of pulling back faster than you think. It's truly amazing how fast you can react to this without even thinking about it. And last but not least, there's the evolution. Evolution is a theory because there's also the creationism approach to how humans were created. But evolution describes the adaptation to environmental circumstances. That means, for example, that humans have developed from an earlier stage of primates to modern Homo sapiens. And also, this process of evolution is the process over generations, and it's still ongoing, even if the effects are not really visible right now, from one day to another. More examples would be the endosymbiosis, which describes how, for example, the mitochondria of a cell, the powerhouse, used to be independent and not within the cell, and used to be its own, well, kind of organism, but it integrated into the cells slowly. It was taken in and installed as an organelle. This is quite interesting, and I'll definitely do another video about it. And of course, Darwin's and other people's theory of evolution, which you all most likely know. And that's it for the video. If you like the channel and want to see more every Saturday, then feel free to subscribe. You can always change your mind, and it's totally free. If you wish to give me feedback or have any suggestions for this channel, feel free to share them in the comments. See you next time.